just one more minute of time without you in my life. I don't want to be without you in my day. I don't want to waste one more day. Can't take it away. Not one more day. Can't take it away. Can't take it away. Come with me now. Let's go on a ride of our lives. Come with me now. Let's go on a ride. I'm saying it now. Now the moment is now. Now the moment is now. Now the moment is now. Right now. Right now that is. That's all there is. Right now the moment is now. Say it again. That's all there is. Right now is the time. Right now is the time. It doesn't matter the start. It's just about who you are. And it's here and it's real and it's now. You can open your heart. You can see the start of the beginning is now. Right now. Right now. Now is all there is. That's all there is. Now it is now. Right now. That's all there is. That's all there is. That's all there is. Now the moment is here.
How you doing, Funky Chicken? Huh? You doing good? How's my Funky Chicken? Sure, a pretty girl. She... Uh-oh, someone's calling you. Who's calling you? Your sister? You're being shy? Where's my kisses? Where's my kisses, girl? Where's my kisses? Should we go down and put your jacket on and go play with the kids? Funky Chicken. Funky Chicken. She's a funky chicken. Okay, bye.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi.
I'm
good.
I'm with Alicia and Robbie Hart, and they were guests at our Pixie's place back in late September 2018. And they are an amazing couple that have been on an amazing journey, that's for sure. And I'm just going to kind of give you a quick overview of sort of my perspective from watching, on the outside, and also understanding, the spiritual path, right? So I see these beautiful people that, in retrospect, had been married, for a couple of years, and with their two children, the fur baby children. And that was Duck and Penelope, right? Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So these are observations, but I could feel, just from some of the conversation, Alicia was searching and seeking, and Robbie, you felt like you were trying to figure things out, like trying to, what does she need? What does she want? Like, how can I, and this is just totally, I'm empathic, you know what I mean? So there's that. It's not like I read any of this or even tried to. It's just my feelings were, these were things that were going on, and we all go through these things, and I'd been through my dark night of the soul where my whole reality was ripped to shreds. And so I know the earmarks of of when people are about to really dive deep, right? And most people aren't courageous enough to go into that tunnel. They get to that uncomfortable stuff and they just like, oh hell no, like, oh hell no, not so it either like ends up tearing them apart anyway, right? Or they're living inauthentic lives, like they're not living their full potential. So that's kind of where I felt you guys when you came to visit. And although our time together was brief and seemingly uneventful, was in fact the beginning of a magical journey that led to the transformation that was literally bubbling up to the surface at that time, and from that time you transformed your lives in immensely unbelievable ways, like from the questioning the relationship itself, not, you know what I mean? We all do that. Did I do the wrong? And especially when things are still new, and then you're hitting this like, I'm transforming, and then going on this amazing journey together, and I'm holding off on the boom, the skyrocket that sort of touched us all off, but and then ending up in a new state, starting over in a new way, and all the changes and transformation that went on during that period of time. Now, I know that's a lot to cover, so let me just start with when you left here. What the heck happened? That was like amazing. Like I wanted to do this then just on that. Like, forget about the rest of it, which is amazing. And Robbie, kudos for you for being so, I just want to cry right now, for being so willing to go on that journey with your beloved. And even when it scared you, for you to just have embraced that and finding this amazing communion together. So just want to say that. Anyway, go on. I'm shutting up.
You want me to start?
No, you start. You start, Tucker.
So we planned on having a trip up to Sequoia Kings Canyon, and that's how we came across paths.
Right.
We really appreciated our time there, and just didn't do a whole lot. Just kind of hung around the river and hung around the vortex and just the whole area. When we left, we decided, because we lived down in Southern California at the time, that rather than just take the direct path back through the kind of the backwoods and back to the 5, that we would go west, I think, and go to Visalia. So we like to, we're foodies and we like seeing new stuff. So we'd never been through Visalia, and Alicia was like, well, okay, whatever, you pick good stuff. So we decided to go through there, and Visalia didn't really have a lot to offer for us. So we grabbed a quick bite to eat, and then decided to, let's get back on the road. But before we do, we're heading to the 5. Let's stop somewhere and find somewhere to let the dogs pee. No big deal. And she's a little bit more sympathetic to the dogs than I am. So I found somewhere to stop to let the dogs pee, and it was a gravel,
just like a parking lot.
Yeah,
parking lot, nothing going on.
Yeah.
And she wasn't having it at all. She's like, no, it's hot outside. We're not doing that. It's like 100 degrees outside.
It's like, let's find a park.
There's got to be grass somewhere. We're like, okay, fine.
He said, you find it then. I'll give you the map and you find it. So I picked the spot.
So then we found Colonel Allensworth State Park, which was, I'm lapsing on the city that it's in, but it was literally out in the middle of nowhere in Central California. And it was a emancipated slave turned colonel in the army that created his own a whole community.
Yeah.
And it was really cool story. And since we were out there, we decided, well, the grass is over there and you have to pay $5 to get in. it's the kind of park where you just put $5 in a slot. There wasn't even a single person around.
Yeah.
And since we paid $5, I'm like, well,
let's do the whole experience.
We let the dogs pee. let's drive up and down the streets and see the old village and how everything was.
The
and
little houses.
On one of the last turns before we left, we saw that there was a lump laying over by one of the houses, semi in the shade. But again, it was really hot that day. And it kind of gave me a sickening to my stomach because I thought it was just a dead coyote or something deceased that obviously it's not alive. It's just a horrible place with no water. Yeah. And it just, I don't know. I had a feeling. It's like, I'm going to honk the horn and see if it like gets startled or maybe it's just sleeping. Things like that don't sleep in the middle of the day. But it was what turned out to be our dog Major. He lifted his head and he was faced away from us. So he couldn't even see where the horn was coming from. And immediately Alicia got into action and got out of the car. And I was like, wait. It might be a coyote. It might be, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so we went up to it and realized it wasn't a feral animal. It was a somewhat domesticated dog, but completely emaciated and
couldn't get up.
Just clinging on to life. We had extra water in the car from our dogs. So we filled up a water bowl and let him drink. And he drank like a half a liter of water in 2 minutes.
Yeah, all he did was lay there drinking. So we're like, okay, what do we do? So we went and grabbed a towel out of the car, put him on the towel, gurneyed him to the car, and found the closest vet.
Yeah, I wasn't the kind of person I thought like, well, this dog's not going to survive. Let's at least take him to be put down because I'm not going to like mercy kill an animal or something like horrible like that. So
I didn't even know. We would never.
We thought, well, there's a vet.
Didn't you think that he had gotten in a fight with some coyotes or something? Wasn't he all ripped up?
At the time,
when we got him to the vet, that's
he
what they
was
told us.
So dirty that we didn't know
what
it was skin wounds. We just thought he was like muddied and dried and dead, like something else happened.
Yeah, we didn't know.
We took him to the vet, and the vet was a livestock vet, and
he was awesome.
He was just he's the reason why we have him. Is he looked at him and was like, well, it looks like he has a bunch of skin wounds. He probably got in a fight with something with sharp claws,
like a bobcat or a mountain lion.
But he told us, just like any vet that's running a business, you can leave him with us, but we'd be putting him down at the end of the day because nobody's going to pay for his kennel and his treatment. If you have it in you, what I would suggest is to take him with you and get him all healed up.
He said it's all skin wounds. He didn't do any x-rays. He did no blood work. Just by looking at him, he said it looks like all skin wounds. He looks like a nice dog. He'd be fighting us even if he was feral or a wild animal. Even though he's in such bad shape, he'd still be fighting us. And he's not fighting us at all. So he must be domesticated.
Yeah. He said he was only about a year old. So as soon as he pretty much gave us that wind of that energy, they were like, okay, well, she was still kind of on the fence. It was like, well, what are we going to do with him? Like, we're going to like rehome him or something.
Yeah, we're leaving the parking lot of the vet. And Robbie goes, what are we going to name him? And I'm like, hold on. We don't even know if he's going to survive. And I went, bro, he will. I can feel like, yeah, I was too scared to get attached. Like, we just found him less than an hour ago. I'm like, hold on, let's get him home 4 hours from where we are and see what that vet says.
So yeah, we drove 200 and something miles back home. Alicia was in the back seat with him the whole time, and our dogs weren't growling or snarling or anything that they typically do around dogs because they just knew that he wasn't a threat at the
yeah.
And Alicia was probably a little bit more apprehensive about saving him because he was covered in fleas and
covered in bugs. We had to roll down the window because I was sitting back there in the back seat with him. Bugs were just jumping off of his head, and I have his head in my lap, and I'm like, oh my god, like I don't know what's happening right now.
So we went to the little Subaru Outback, got him all the way home, and we didn't even go home first. We went over to an emergency vet that was by our house, and luckily we didn't take that vet's advice. He was a nice vet, but he was younger than we were.
He thought we were absolutely insane. He was like, you don't know this dog. This is going to be a lot of money.
As soon as he's going to bite you in the face.
Yeah.
He's just, it's a terrible
dog. You go through this? And we're like, can you do blood work and x-rays before we decide? So he did it, and he said, yeah, no broken bones, no blood work, or nothing wrong with his blood. Like, it looks like all skin wounds.
All right.
So, all right, we're going to heal him. And
So we took him to, I did HVAC work for a vet in another part of town. And I took him there, and the vet is Korean, and we didn't think that had anything to do with the story. But almost instantly, he looks at the dog and he's like, oh, my God, I'm glad you brought him in. I love dealing with stuff like this because most of the time people give up on dogs when they're this bad, but they can totally heal. And so we're like, well, hey, he's like, as long as he makes it through the first surgery, I think we'll be good. He'll probably need a lot of secondary care and return visits. Yeah. But let me get the leg cleaned up and get him all whatever. So we left him there, and we were definitely nervous because that was when we were like, it was a win or a lose. It's like, was he going to live or die of the surgery? And so he called us and he's like, hey, your dog's back, and his leg's really bad, but he's healed. Come get him. And when we went to pick him up, he was brilliant white cotton ball dog that we had no idea. We're like, whoa. We thought he was some kind of a husky mix, but the doctor told us this looks like a Korean Jindo. He's 100% Korean Jindo. He knew right off the bat. Yeah, and the doctor's Korean, so that was kind of a interesting equate.
Well, that's exactly. Yeah. No, because I remember when I first saw the pictures, because I was following it online, I couldn't believe how gorgeous he was. And I could tell that his lines, while he looked very husky, or Samoan, that natural inclination would be that he did have some sort of I wanted to say, he kind of looks like a Japanese fighting dog or something like that. So you know what I mean? I'm not a dog person, so I don't know the breeds, but obviously there was some connection.
Yeah, a lot of people say, is he a Shiba Inu? He's like a big version of that.
I don't know if you remember this, but we were leaving your camp. You were doing a little bit of a reading on me, and you're like, I see a son in your future, and all we had were her dogs.
I remember you telling me that, yeah.
You're like, I see a son in your future, and on the way home from hanging out at your spot, we found our son. It was amazing. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
No, but it really brought together in my again, just following the story. To me, it was the first chapter of this whole new life you were beginning. He seemed to, and again, being white, right? There's that's a very shamanistic. He seemed to me like he was this shaman ghost, this back, like the phoenix rising, right? And you were collapsing what had been, I want something new. I want to find new things, So tell me how it went from that, I mean, obviously there was the integration, and I know the dogs just all got along right away from scratch. They didn't synchronistically, right?
Right.
How did it go from that to then getting an RV, traveling across the United States? I love that. So how did you get from there to there?
So from there, Alicia had to miss a lot of work and take him to the vet every 2 days. I owned my own hair salon, so I was able to make my own schedule, and all my clients understood what an animal lover I was. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I have to move your appointment this Wednesday because I have to take my dog. Oh, no problem. So I was missing a lot of work, but, trying to stay on top of it. Yeah. So, that was very time consuming. But we decided that a year and a half later, COVID hit, and that kind of shuttered a lot of businesses. It forced her to stop working, and it really consolidated the amount of customers that were calling me. And I had lost my dad a year or so prior to that. And so he never really got to retire. He just worked and then got cancer and passed away. So that was part of the reasoning. Was I figured if I'm going to somehow, if genetics end up being the same and something happens to me, I want to know that I got to have a once in a lifetime trip and really get to see the world and do what I want to do rather than wait until the right time. Like this is the right time. It's a horrible time. Everybody's losing business and people are getting sick, but we decided that I had a van, so we converted the van into a home on wheels.
We've been brainstorming about it though for months beforehand. We were like, what if we go to Maine and drive to Maine for 6 weeks, maybe 1 month, 2 months? Like, let's see how we can make it work.
I told her 6 weeks was crazy.
The thing that's so perfect. I just want to interject this quickly because it's perfect in this part of the story. The beautiful thing about that is that at that moment, see, I couldn't remember in thinking back, I was like, I knew, your trip was like, right. I couldn't remember if it was intuitive and just before COVID or if it was more, in response to. But the point is that period of time, whatever that was, right? That was a moment, for a societal dark night of the soul. You know what I mean? And just what we were talking about, people starting to go within and really asking questions. And since you guys had already sort of been on the precipice of all that, you know what I mean? It had already been stirring and percolating. You did, like half the country split. Half the people went down this terrible path of fear and all this other stuff. And the other half were like, hey, I'm going to go explore. Like,
we're using this opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a moment of freedom. Like, use it, take the opportunity. So
exactly.
So you renovated the van, and did you chart a course, or did you just kind of, what was
a little bit of,
yeah.
The main course was she was born in Maine. So we wanted to get to Maine. That was the point for sure.
I've never been to Maine. My parents moved me to California when I was 1.5 years. So I always wanted to see it. I always wanted to go back. I felt like my soul needs trees, and there's no trees in California. So I was like, we got to go see it. Just see how I feel about it.
Her cousin bought an art.
You're definitely more of an Oregon girl. Like, I was thinking that to myself. I'm like, as much as, and I'm gonna just say this, Robbie, you are a hunky, handsome man. And Alicia, you are, I just wanted to say that because I didn't want him to feel bad when I went off on, and I'm sure he will reflect this. You are a beautiful flower. There is something so special about you. And you can't be captured. You know what I mean? Like by anything, by restrictions, the system, like any of it. And that's what makes you special. That's what makes you special. And you magnetize experiences of people that see that beautiful free spirit in you, and it's contagious. And that makes you a muse. And muses are very special because they give people the permission to be themselves and to be that special peacock that's hiding, afraid, that needs to have, like their hand held to say, it's okay, shine your light, Anyway, so I just want my audience to know how special this woman is. And Robbie's beaming, but equally so. Like Rob is, you guys just make the most perfect, beautiful couple. Your energy is so matched, very well matched. Adventurous, strong spirited. Robbie feels like he grounds, Alicia a little bit, and Alicia opens Robbie up to cray.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we're got us. Opposites attract, and then Major was definitely the glue to just seal us together because we were not as connected as we were after meeting him, and that really just both of our strong suits and our weaknesses. She is just so good with animals and was able to nurse him back to health and was there every second that he needed it, and then
I did everything for him, all the meds, all the doctors, all the appointments. I was the one, but he was the one that financially supported us, and I was the one.
Yeah, it's a team effort. You invested your investment, and he invested his investment.
Exactly.
So
I couldn't have done it without him.
Well, of course,
vice versa.
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes you guys special, is that you complement each other and you are a team, and I hate to say it, but it's that twin soul, level of intimacy, and when I say intimacy, I mean emotional intimacy, a bond that is so much more deeper than what the average couple even strives for or even understands that they can possibly have. But it does take sometimes pulling things apart a little bit, and that's when people get scared. You know what I mean? So you went on this journey, and through that you visited Maine, which was, I saw the pictures, gorgeous. And you ultimately then crisscrossed back. You must have met a ton of amazing people, right? You made a lot of friends, right?
Yeah.
36 state.
How many?
36.
Oh
yeah, we went
my
through 36.
God, I had no idea it was 36.
Yeah. Some we just cruised right through, but others we stayed a week.
How many months were you guys
6
gone?
months.
Wow.
6 months altogether.
Yeah.
And then we had kind of planned on let's give it a shake and see if we go through and find some beautiful area. Maybe we'll change our mind, but we were kind of set on Oregon and Portland specifically.
Yeah. Well, I loved Maine, but then we were traveling in the summer and Robbie told me, it does snow a lot here. And I'm like, oh, wait, I don't know if I do snow. So that was the turning point for me. Like, okay, maybe not Maine.
So we might have spent a little more time on the road, but when we were in Washington, we had a tree branch fall in our car, and it didn't do a whole lot of damage, but it definitely got her done with the trip.
I was like,
she's like, no,
we're done.
We need the house.
It was getting a little bit closer to fall, getting a little windy, a little cold. We were like,
nest a little bit.
But plus, let's set the distinction. We didn't have an RV. We had a converted Ford Transit van. With no bathroom. With 3 dogs and no bathroom. So it was kind of trying on both of our patiences too.
We got a hotel every once in a while, but mostly in the van the whole time. Yeah.
So finally got to Portland, and we can kind of commiserate with a lot of people. We were living on the street for about a week because
in our van.
In our van, but we didn't have a place to live. And so how do you look for a house when you don't have a house? So we're like, well, let's sleep over here in the.
See if we like this neighborhood.
Yeah, let's park in this neighborhood. Let's park.
So you took a sample. You sampled out all the neighborhoods.
Yeah, and we found our house, which I would say probably emulates yours a little. It's a log cabin,
and I've always wanted a log cabin. For years, I said I want a log cabin, and so we were driving down the street, and it said for rent, and I was like, that is our house. All I had to do was send an email. They let us in. It was still during COVID, so there was that key lock outside the box. We let ourselves in. I was like, "This is it. I'm not leaving." And so we got.
It's very, very cute. Yeah. And I mean,
it was just meant to be our house for 3 years now. Yeah.
But every part of that story, you know what I mean? And then now, okay, so you got to Oregon, you settled down, you found your house, you then decided to expand on your animal skills and got a
dog rescue. Yeah. And bringing home dogs. 13, kept one.
I know.
We had
that was a cutie.
Yeah,
and then Rob, you just joined the union, right? You just got in with the union. Well, he literally got up as here's the big boy. Look at that major boy. Oh, he is so gorgeous. It's incredible. It's incredible that you just found him and that you guys have forged this amazing family and that the dogs were like, and I know what that's like because everyone that I bring in, the group accepts, you know what I mean? And you can tell, like, if they're going to accept somebody just energetically, that's the only way it's going to work. I can only do 30 animals by myself. if everybody is like a team, you know, and when everybody's in a bad mood at the same time, oh my God, I'm in trouble. But you guys then, Robbie just got into the union with his home air conditioning, HVAC. Is that what it's known as?
Yeah. HVAC.
I never knew what that stood for. AC is, I would say, air conditioning, and H is maybe home.
Oh, heating, ventilation, Air,
Air
Oh,
conditioning.
I
air
was totally off,
conditioning.
at least on the first two.
Yeah.
But you guys have graduated to fostering children too, which is amazing.
Yeah.
You guys,
Yeah.
that is like, if I had a partner, that's what I would want to do, because I didn't have kids, and you know, it's not because I didn't love kids. I love kids, you know, and when you've got so much to offer and your heart is so, you know, filled with healing, being able to help others heal, whether it's the animals, each other, yourself, it's a gift, you know, it's a gift. And again, that's what magnetizes, and that's what the beautiful light is around both of you. You know, you guys are healers, and definitely.
Yeah, we weren't.
Oh, I'm running out of
go
time.
ahead.
Oh, so this thing may 9 minutes. Okay, that's okay. All right. Okay. Goodbye. See me later. Get off the screen now. Thank you, Zoom. Thank you, Secretary. But how has that been for you?
Well, I mean, I think I don't know. We weren't able to have kids on our own. It just isn't happening. And I'm not getting pregnant. I've been pregnant, but then lost it a couple weeks later. And so it just wasn't happening for us. And I just never felt like we should go down the route of in vitro or forcing something when there's so many kids that need homes already, and we can help that way. And so that's why we got into foster care, because we want to be parents, but I also want to help other people and other parents that did go through a hard time and lost their kids. If they're going to work hard and get them back, I want to be there for them too. So both our kiddos, we had one for 2.5 months, one for 11.5 months. Their parents worked really hard, got them back. Yeah. But I stayed close with their parents too. So I still pick them up every 2 weeks or so. They know they can count on me. So now we have like an even bigger circle. And they're amazing. And they're so happy. They're happy to be back with their parents. But our girl, she still calls us mom and dad when she's over here. Our 2-year-old, he's 3 now. He doesn't talk. He's globally delayed, but he still treats us like mom and dad. He's just such a love bug.
Yeah.
And so
they're both gorgeous. Yeah. And it's cute that you do things with them together. Because I've seen.
Oh, he always, if I pick her up first, she says, "Are we going to get my brother? I want to go get my brother." So I always try to get him and her together. Whenever we get one, we got to get the other, because they want to be together too. Of
course, but that's what you've created, this network of love, and you will have the chance to be parents. I feel that very deeply. It's just it'll be when it is, you know what I mean? And then you know that. So just keep doing what you're doing, and you're both together a team that is so impactful. The things that you've done, the lives that you've touched. But mostly you've inspired. This story is so inspirational because, like I said, you're giving people the permission. You're showing people that, yeah, you can have these experiences. Are the other kids around? Are the other two? Oh, darn.
Yeah, they're over here.
Hey, one last thing. You've got 2 additional babies, right? They're little rats.
Yes, I got rats. I had them as a kid. I know everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I love them. I've been wanting them for years, and so finally I did. Yeah. But that's really it. It doesn't matter if it's an animal or if it's a human baby, you know, a child or a person. I don't care what type. I'll take care of it.
Yeah. You, like myself, you guys relate to the sentience and the being that's within that little creature, and you respect it and you love it and uplift it. And that's where we hope to all go in this evolution of the human species, right? And hopefully people can start getting on board and stop fighting. But
our goal is to have a little homestead like you got. Like you have the perfect setup. So we're renting our house, but once we go in to start looking for a house of our own, I want it to be a little homestead like you have. I want goats and chickens and keep fostering kids, and I'll do hair out of the house, and that's my dream. Is just
and that's all there. That's all perfect. And that was mine too. And I saw you with those baby goats. Oh yeah, you are such a goat girl. No,
I am.
You're not that far off, you know, like it's all going to happen. I know it. And you told me that when you guys were here, and that's why, I felt very, you know, touched to stay in connected to your journey, because it was, I see it unfolding. I see it happening. It doesn't happen just to, you know, snap overnight. Nothing like amazing ever does. You know, kids are like, no,
Yeah.
it's time, everything beautiful, like a fine wine, you know. But
totally. I don't worry about it anymore. I know it's going to happen. It just, you got to go through the steps and get there slowly. And if you keep going the right direction, it's going to happen one day. So I don't stress about it like I did before we came to Pixie's place. I was more like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Like, let's do something big. And now we are. And I just love it here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but the other thing too is when you're empathic, you have you have tremendous energetics, right? So like huge. So if you turn it into worrying, you're going to have huge reflection of that. If you turn it into, I'm not going to worry and I'm going to invest and do all these things, I don't care what the outcome is, I'm just going to do them and stay open, that's what you're going to, you know, illuminate. So
totally.
you're on the right
what I was trying.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't want to keep you guys anymore. And thank you so much for your time. And I'm so excited. We're gonna be here cheering you on. And Major is gonna be a big movie star, apparently, right? He's got some other big interview coming up.
Yeah, with Jess and Fuzzy Butt. That's the name of her. Yeah.
I know, I saw that. It's so cute. Well, the story is magical, not only just with Major, but I mean the whole thing. So thank you for sharing, and happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays.
Bye, Wendi.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.